So, welcome, bronies, to the FOB Equestria Podcast, the official podcast of FOB Equestria. This week we have Dizziest Beef, Miche, Saunterhoof, Silvermane, and myself. If you don't know who I am Spangle. Hi. I wasn't here last week, but I'm back. You know, things happen.
It was better without you.
Oh, come on, Miche. You know you love me. You say it frequently.
I do,
Blow.
but in a sick, twisted sense of the term.
I don't...
Not so much he loves you, it's that he loves, like, your body, specifically your internal organs.
Yes.
I think we should just casually get away from that topic right now, and, because that... Why was I reminded of cupcakes?
You're supposed to be.
Okay. Anyway, so Silvermane is with us here, but he does have other business and duties that he may have to attend to. But we are glad to have you while you are available, good sir.
Thank you very much.
So, yeah, I guess first bit of news, that it's a topic I want to bring up because it's something that's important to me and to some of my friends in the brony community. No one in this channel actually has been told about this, so this is going to be news to them. I'd like to hear their thoughts on it. There's a convention going on in Colorado that is being organized by some of my good friends there. They already have the convention center organized and everything. Their website is almost near completion. And it is called Running of the Leaves. And it is going to be October 31st to November 3rd. And it's pretty much everything legally and financially at this point is more or less taken care of. And they, like I said, they're finishing right now. They are putting the finishing touches on their website. So I will be making a post as soon as that is finished. I will be promoting this convention here on our website. And myself and Red Sage are pretty much guaranteed to be going. But yeah, convention around the bend. Now, I never got an answer from... Really, well, I kind of got an answer from you, Dizzy, when I asked if anyone would be able to attend a convention in Colorado around that time frame. You pretty much said no, right?
I said no, I'm going to have school. I might be in Puerto Rico. Not sure.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Wait, no, I'm being stupid. Never mind.
But I think a lot of us, more or less, would be a little bit broke. I mean, October 31st is a bit of ways after BronyCon, but I think a lot of us will probably still be recouping financial losses.
Well, for me, money is not an option, considering I can survive on sheer force of will. But the problem is leave time and actually getting my leave approved. So that is a perhapsable from me.
Perhapsable. Saunter, I know you're in Ohio, so a trip to Colorado Miche's in Quantico, but...
Well, I mean, I'll be in physics class, so there's just no way that's going to be happening.
All right. Silver, actually, I don't recall where you are currently stationed.
I'm in
Ohio.
Oklahoma.
Oklahoma.
We've been over the Spangle. How do you think he knows so much about the Oklahoma tornadoes?
Right. I feel so stupid right now.
It was a silly pony.
We still love you.
Pony. You was.
Don't worry, it's more than a feeling.
More than
Ow.
a feeling.
Okay.
Bad boy.
Don't even get me started.
Well, I guess
do this.
the point there. Is FOB Equestria will have a presence. My friends who are organizing this, they are part of the Colorado Bronies organization, and they've actually asked me to assist them in organizing this, so I am kind of part of the organizing staff of this convention as well, so I have a bit of a vested interest. That being said, when it comes to the actual con itself, I will probably be functioning mostly in a press capacity, and I am still paying my entire way there. They aren't being, they don't have the funds to really throw around when it comes to just getting me out there. They want to use that money elsewhere. They said, if you can support yourself, we'd really appreciate that. And I'm like, yeah, sure, no problem. So, but yes, FOB Equestria will be at that, and you'll have a lot more news on the way. Like I said, as soon as their site is up and running, I am going to be making a post on it. They are going to be doing a Kickstarter of sorts, so to get the funds to make this convention as big as possible. If you might be willing to donate, just be on the lookout for that on their website. Like I said, they already have a lot of personal money invested in this, and anything they don't want to really make a profit from this. And we've already talked in the past about how cons are not usually profitable, but anything they do get as profits, they would actually like to donate to charity and kind of give back. So it's really just it's not supposed to be as big as the Las Pegasus Unicon. If you've seen some of the smaller cons like Cloudsdale Congress and the such, it'll be more along those lines with not so much of the main show talent. There will be a few of the show talent. I know they're trying to get Tabitha St. Germain in there, and maybe some of the lesser. I don't mean to imply they're lesser, but some of the not as big figures.
Supporting character talent.
The support. Thank you, Michelle. Thank you.
You mean people like Peter New and Mary Kendricks?
Yeah, like Peter
Okay,
New.
yeah.
They're definitely looking for Andrew Francis. One of the things they got when talking to Tabitha's agent, he said usually Tabitha doesn't make decisions until like a month or 2 months out. So they're trying to push for an answer, but they might not have a definite yes or no from her until come sometime in the fall, late summer. But it is definitely a con. Like I said, they have pretty much the venue already reserved and paid for. They have, the website is near completion. So this isn't a maybe happening. This is a definitely happening. So if you're in the Colorado area, definitely look forward to a convention in your time frame around the 31st, 3rd of November. So anyway, I guess that's me kind of
Massaging
promoting.
your own ego.
How is it massaging my own ego?
Colorado bronies. I've got a lot of friends in that group of people as well.
Well, I was out in Colorado for a good while, so. Although, granted,
Bangle has friends, obviously massaging ego.
Well,
Clearly.
Come on, people. Who has friends? Friends are useless.
With all due respect, we are on their servers right now.
Yeah, they did. They are the ones who gave us the nonprofit license. It is thanks to them that our Teamspeak server does have a 512 person limit, should it ever need it.
Sweet.
So actually, if you're listening to this podcast and you weren't aware that we have a Teamspeak server, yeah, that's where we're actually recording this. It is just ts.fobequestria.com, I think. Is it a .com?
Yes.
Come and have a .com. Come and have a party. There's no more than about 15 people on it at any given time.
Yeah, just if your friends want a place to go chat, usually TeamSpeak is used while people play video games because usually in-game voice systems suck horribly. But
Raise his hand.
yeah.
I
it's
never leave.
it's definitely higher quality than you'll hear on Skype. And it's like I said, if you want a place to go hang out with your friends, maybe talk to someone who's online just randomly in the server. We have a few people who jump into the server randomly. Yeah, I guess TeamSpeak servers are things. That's about it. Also,
Well,
if
they
that's a
are.
thing.
if for whatever reason ts.fobequestria.com does not work in the IP, there is another IP which I will put down in the description of this video, which is basically derpy.broke-it.net, and that one's almost guaranteed to work unless for whatever reason my internet drops out, because it's being run on my computer. Yay.
Yay.
Woohoo!
Or we could
Well, the
just tell
hyphen.
them the IP address. The IP address is 173.216.1.220, right?
Yeah, but if my internet service provider decides to change my IP for whatever reason, then that's no longer valid.
That's why you set DHCP to keep the same IP.
You guys are talking computer magic with me right now,
That's the way I see it.
and I don't understand it.
You lost me an IP.
DHCP, Dynamic Host Configuration Protocol.
Well, see, quick explanation
Okay,
here.
in a nutshell, you basically say to your ISP, I want this IP all the time. Don't get rid of it.
Okay, well, I mean, I kind of just went around that, and I went to DYN and just have software on my computer that automatically updates the derpybrokeit.net address to match whatever my current IP is. So derpybrokeit.net will always work. So yeah. Anyway, moving on, because we've wasted enough time there. Silvermane, did you say you had something you might have wanted to discuss earlier? Maybe.
I might, but they just sent me notifications saying the meeting started, so I have to bail on you fine ponies.
You go
right
take
now.
care of business, good sir. Like we
I
said, he
will.
has business. He has
I will be
duties.
here next week with bells on.
Awesome.
Awesome. All right, take care of your pony, and I'll see you next week.
So Silvermane has, like we said, other business to take care of. He is a very busy pony.
On to the dark side.
No, it's. Why would you think it's the dark side? I think it's
Because it's not the light side.
because it's not
Not
FOB
us.
Equestria.
It's not us.
It's not us, so it must be the dark side. Because clearly,
Dealer matters the perspective.
true. So, what do we want to talk about
Turn
next?
the lights off.
Sonner, you want to talk about the flag a little bit, maybe?
I'm sorry, what did you say?
I said, do you want to talk about the flag that is currently being commissioned?
Okay, the flag. Yes. I actually live near a place that actually makes American flags, and like they've been doing it since the 60s and stuff. So I decided much earlier this year to go ahead and stop in there and ask them if they do custom flags, and it turns out they definitely do. So just recently I set up for them to actually do a commission of getting us a flag of Equestria, the flag that was hanging over the stage on Hearthswarming Eve, the double pennant vertically hanging banner thing that is. I've got it commissioned. All I got to do is pay for it. That's not too much of a big deal. Although I will tell you guys that in the future, if anyone is thinking about commissioning a legit flag, that you should be really careful with it because it's extremely expensive, at least for my tastes. The flag itself should appear very similar to the flag that's in the show, but if you actually look at the flag that's in the show, you'll see that there are some alignment issues and some stars sticking out of places that they're just kind of wandering around. It's really kind of weird how they set it up, so I'll probably correct most of the issues. It should look pretty nice. It'll be vertically hanging. It's going to be kind of strange because I have to construct it so that it actually has two flagpoles, a cross member bar, and a regular flagpole. But it should be pretty good. It should be a 3x4 foot flag that we should be able to take on any sort of parades or marches or just having it up. So that's that.
Okay, so that was one of the questions I was going to have, is what type of flag this would have been if it would have been converted into kind of, flat out rectangle, an ordinary rectangular flag, the style we're used to seeing, or if you were going for the vertical style. Will it also be missing like the kind of have the triangular cut at the bottom?
Yeah, because it's I forget what it's specifically called. I call it like a double pennant. It's similar to the state of Ohio flag, except the state of Ohio flag is a double pennant flag, and the weird part about a pennant flag is that it's angled on both sides. With the equestrian flag, it's not angled at all. It comes straight down like a square, and then it has a triangular cut in the center. And I'm not exactly sure what it's called, but basically I'm kind of treating it as an old Roman legionnaire flag for as best as I can handle it, and as far as the flag makers themselves recognize it to be something similar to that. So
Right, and that's what it seemed like on the show, and that's what it sounds like would be the best option. I think it's awesome that you're actually getting this made. I think we already have the guide on, and now we have a flag, and it's kind of just the way the military brony mind thinks, is just let's get stuff to.
We have a guide on?
Yeah, there's a military brony guide on. You were not aware
Yeah,
of
we
that?
send it to mentions.
Where have you been this past existence?
It's pretty nice under my rock. That's
I
why
bet it
nobody
is.
talks to you.
I bet it is. So
Knock until you try it.
I prefer living in my apartment. Thank you. No comment about that, Miche?
Nope.
Okay. So I guess that
Nap time.
nap time. For those of you not aware, Miche is very tired right now. So
2
we're
hours of sleep represent.
yeah. So the military guide on the equestrian flag. It's kind of stuff that you kind of come to expect that a military brony would do, I suppose. And it makes for a good talking point to transfer into the effect that military bronies seem to have on this community. Now that we are becoming a more involved part of the brony fandom and becoming more active in really identifying ourselves. I mean, I think initially, until BronyCon of last year, the military brony aspect of the community was more kind of this military bronies. It was like seeing Bigfoot or something. And now it's become more commonplace, and to the point where we are organizing and unifying amongst ourselves, and to an extent, unifying the community. So, thoughts about effects of military bronies? Miche, I know you had something to say on this.
Wait, what? Distraction.
Ooh, shiny!
I are busy arting. Just kidding. Well.
Military bronies. Are they good for the
Yes.
fandom?
Well, obviously my answer is yes.
We are totally not biased in any way, shape, or form.
Clearly,
Imagine
just
So, continue.
I think it kind of adds in another element to the fandom, in the same kind of way that bronies in general have kind of taken on a lot of the lessons of the show. I think it affords us the opportunity of teaching a little bit about the elements of the military and how they kind of coincide and go along with, which is redundancy is redundant, all the elements of the show. And I really kind of I like it. I've gotten a lot of positive feedback from people about it, and I think now that we're really starting to get a lot of viz in the brony community, that it's really starting to make a noticeable impact.
Now, I think one thing you mentioned earlier was you noticed that it seems to be unifying different aspects of the community, or at least that's what I think I heard you say. Do you want to expand upon that thought?
What I had noticed, because I've been talking to a lot of all of the guys from like the Military Bronies Facebook, Semper Philly, First Awesome Platoon, is a lot of us are really pulling together. For example, not many people know, but I'm an admin for First Awesome Platoon. Acer, Nathan Skeen, is an admin for First Awesome Platoon and Military Bronies Facebook. And then there's another mod who is a mod for everyone except us, which
Maybe get them on board in some way if they want
perhaps,
to?
but he's also involved with a convention that is coming up. I forget which one precisely. I'll probably have more news on that next time. But he said he would love to help us out, but due to the fact that he's already committed to about
So many
5
things?
about 5 different groups that it would be a lot of trouble. He doesn't think he can really commit to a high standard of work. But he did kind of throw his hand out, offering, say, if we ever wanted to have him as a guest on the podcast, or if we ever just wanted him to be a part of something that we do, which I think is definitely pretty awesome.
Yeah. So I definitely have a better idea of what you were going for when you said that unifying aspect earlier. Yeah, and I think it is kind of a tendency within the military, this whole mentality of teamwork and cooperation rather than competition. I mean, certainly let's look at the military, just excluding the brony factor. You have the different services, which, yeah, there's a bit of friendly, ribbing, and
I have nothing but envy for Air Force.
And there's a bit of competition, comparison of services. But when it comes down to it, we all work together, we all cooperate, and we all get the job done. And so I think I'm going to go off and, talk about a subject not a lot of people talk about here for a second. And, okay, so when there were a lot of emerging different organizations in the brony community, you saw this kind of aspect of competition. And brony politics kind of came into being, and a lot of people are like, brony politics, they're worse than normal politics, and no one really likes it. But with us, with the military bronies anyway, we don't seem to really compete, we seem to cooperate. And honestly, that was one thing I noticed, that some of the other organizations, some of the major organizations like Celestia Radio and EFN, at least last time I saw them together at a convention, they, instead of competing, they started working together for a change. And they liked the fact that there was a new level of cooperation there rather than competition. And I think it's just nice that, us as military bronies never had to deal with that in the first place.
Yeah, I think it all comes down to just teamwork. We are trained to work, fight, live as a team. So we innately have the desire to come together and work together towards a common goal.
No matter how much you hate the guy sitting next to you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Very true.
Yeah.
Since everybody is doing this for the community, there's no reason to fight over, trying to give
trivial things.
Right. Trying to I'm going to give better stuff to the community than you. It's like, no, you can work together and then put out better quality things together than you could have ever done alone.
Absolutely. Saunter, you said you had something to say?
Yeah, for this, I'm not so sure, we are, a huge aspect in actually unifying the community as much as unifying ourselves, but I have noticed that we, as military bronies, do have an ability to have a lot of individual initiative. So what you end up finding is you find a lot of military bronies all over the place in better straits than you would find most bronies at. You find, for example, people like DJ Tetsuo, if I'm saying it properly. You got DJ Shamrock, you got Derpy Drift. These are all military bronies as well, and they're all kind of excelling in their little individual fields. And I think what is the driving force behind this kind of unification is that we all have this individual initiative to try and do our own thing, but also make things better for each other. So there's kind of this little bit of hooking each other up, but there's also cooperating so that we can work for the better good overall.
Yeah, and not only that, I mean, the one thing I think the military bronies have to contribute to this community in terms of making things kind of run a bit better is military bronies, when they do things, they tend to bring a certain level of organization and professionalism into it that you don't normally see in just an organization without that military, I guess, background. And I mean, we kind of saw it a little bit when we as soon as something was announced for BronyCon, like last year, we were immediately saying, hey, here's our plans. And, you know, as soon as the doors opened, we were already talking and organizing with them, to the point where they were telling us to come back a bit later because they still hadn't figured those things out yet. And so that sort of drive and organization definitely comes, I think, to the benefit of the community, because it's not very good when you have that. I mean, as much as some people in the community think chaos is a wonderful thing, you know, Discord and all that good stuff, when it comes to running conventions and the such, not so much.
You are entitled to your opinion, even if your opinion is wrong.
Are you?
I have to agree with Dizzy.
Absolute.
So, Dizzy, are you saying my opinion is wrong?
I'm saying the people who think chaos is a good thing, they are wrong.
Incorrect.
Okay. For a sec, I had to clarify there. So, I definitely...
Yes.
So,
The beginning and the end.
The beginning and the end. So, I mean... I won't really single anything out, but yeah, we've seen the effects of poor organization, and we really don't want that. Now, I know for a fact one of our own has managed to get at least on the board to help organize BronyCon, so that's definitely good. We know that he'll get the work done, and he's basically in charge of all things military related when it comes to BronyCon. So the march, the panel, all that good stuff. But it's like I said, we definitely see military bronies taking a more active role in this community, and I don't think that anything bad's really going to come from it. I think it's all going to be beneficial to this community. So yeah, any thoughts? Anything I didn't say about military bronies? EA for
No, I'm good.
EA for being completely biased. I mean, not biased at all. Nope, no biased here.
Where's that? I don't see any.
Yeah.
Smile and nod, smile and nod.
So I guess moving forward, I don't know. What do you guys want to talk about? Silence?
I
Well, I
really
could
don't
go
know.
over. I could go over like some of the stuff that I posted in the week. Like,
Oh,
I
yes.
know I made an. I know I made an art post for Airsoft Player 1234. He had a whole bunch of soldiers and pony wallpapers that he posted on his DeviantART, so that's pretty good. It's all pretty good. It's simple stuff, but it's still pretty nice to see and take a look at.
Right. Definitely. That was one. I'm just. I do want to take a quick moment here to thank you, Saunter, for all your hard work throughout the week with all your posts.
Oh, I love you too.
Especially that one really long, more serious post that you threw up. Do you want to? We can talk about it a little bit if you want.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to like bring anybody's mood down, but yeah, I mean, I suppose we should. Also, I guess in the United States, it's going to be Memorial Day here on the 27th, so I suppose we could. But yeah, so that post was my own kind of opinion piece about the murder that happened in Woolwich, UK, of a British Royal Fusilier drummer. He was pretty much just like attacked at random and then beheaded in the street in front of a crowd of onlookers. And from it was so crazy to me to read about that, and I just got so mad immediately as soon as I heard that. I was just like pissed off for the rest of the day. And then I decided, okay, well, maybe I can vent by like writing an opinion post about it. And like about 3 or 4 hours later, after like hard emotional writing of like, I didn't even really write that much, only like maybe 800 words. I don't know, something like that. I wrote that piece, and basically the way it comes down to it is I have a personal view about things like this, and I know a lot of people make a big deal and about the war on terrorism and like, is it this unwinnable war? But the way I see it is terrorism isn't necessarily about any specific ideology. This is like the ideology of someone who is pretty much empty on their insides. They're cruel, they're heartless people that are trying to cause fear and pain and suffering in order for their own personal gain. And it's just that you have to stand against terrorism when it's being used as a weapon by anyone. And what I see here, and I've seen some stuff on the web that because the web's been filled with like Reddit commentators and all sorts of other stuff about what happened, and I've even seen some people say, well, how come this is a terrorist attack when it's because of Muslims, but it's not a terrorist attack when it's white people doing it, or all this other stuff. And it doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, when you're using terrorism, religion and creed and politics and everything else pretty much goes right out the door. As soon as you start using terrorism, you become a hypocrite, and all of your principles and all of your beliefs and all of the things you hold are just absolutely null and void, because you don't care about any of those things. You only care about the immediate effect and the pain and suffering you're causing in order to make yourself feel better. And that's really all that this is. And so I don't want to go ahead and watch any of the videos of this guy like boasting about what he did. I'm not gonna try and know what his name is. I'm not gonna tell his name to other people, and I don't want to, because that's the thing he doesn't want the most. What he most fears is not being known, and I want to use it as a weapon against him, and use it as a weapon against anyone else who would do that. Is I want them to be silent. So I'm not going to go ahead and say all those things. And when you look at the post, you'll see that I have pictures of Mr. Lee, because I'd rather honor him more than anything else, because he left a son and a wife, and that's the real tragedy here more than anything else, and it has nothing to do with any sort of religious connotations or political connotations besides that. And I don't want they already think there may have been an attempted copycat in France as of like yesterday or something like that. And again, this is one of those things that social scientists have come on the television and consistently said, don't make this into a huge deal. Don't show these videos. Don't say their names. Don't do all these things. Otherwise, you will get copycats, and that's the last thing I want to do to my brothers and sisters in the armed forces of my friendly nations and my allied nations and all that good stuff. So, I mean, we're also coming up here on Memorial Day in the United States, so we need to pay tribute to those who have had to take that kind of a stand and have had to absorb those blasts of this weapon of terrorism. And it's one that gets repeated throughout history, and somebody has to be there to absorb this kind of punishment, and it's going to be us. So for us military especially, we do really have to pay attention to this kind of stuff, because it's going to be us, or it's going to be someone we know for sure in the future that's going to be exposed to this kind of violence and this kind of cruelty, and we have to fight it as much as we can in the best possible way, rather than just fighting at it aimlessly. And that's what I'm trying to point out through the post itself.
Right. And I noticed in the post you basically said all the onlookers, all the bystanders were paralyzed by terror, by their fear, and unable to do anything but look. And the old quote, all that requires for the triumph of evil is that good men do nothing, it comes to mind. And those who put on the uniform and go out there to fight terrorism and you fight these heartless people who would inflict harm upon others. They are the good men, and it is sad that such a thing happened, but at the same time, I think you have the absolute right approach of, don't give this guy what he wants, and that is to be recognized. So, yeah, it's definitely a bit heavier. I think it's an appropriate subject for Memorial Day weekend, as you pointed out, and yeah, it's definitely a little bit disheartening. We certainly have posts that bring in a bit more of the real world, a bit more of the military world on our website. It's not all ponies, and I know some bronies might not like those posts as much, because I know a lot of people like this community and this show because it's nice, to put it simply. It's happy, it's friendly, it's not as dark and depressing as our world can be sometimes, but I feel the only way, we are all in some way responsible for making our world a better place in one way or another, and to make it a better place we have to be aware of how the world currently is. So
See, I think in addition to that, though, like, one of the reasons I include some of these things in there, I also included the there was a shooting, and there was like a murder suicide at a base, and I included that in there. And I know they're dark posts for stuff about My Little Pony, but it's like, when from our perspective in the military, we have to understand that there's going to be some true horror that we're going to see, but at the same time, we have to be able to keep our spirits up, and we also have to be able to see the good things at the same time. So as much good how do I say this? As much as there is good stuff that is out there that we like to revel in, we should also kind of take notice of some of the other stuff that's there too, and we also have to take notice of how the world can sometimes be much more dangerous and much darker, but it shouldn't break anybody's spirit when something terrible happens or something dark happens. That's the whole point of the show, is that we can come from this dark place and we can always go back to this light place with ponies and everything else, because it's still all kind of part of the same world that we exist in, and we cohabitate.
yeah, and actually, it's because military does tend to see some of the darker sides of the world. I mean, that's why a lot of us military bronies are drawn to the show. I know we've talked on this subject before, but this show definitely helps bring, this show and this community help to kind of bring a balance to our life as military members. So
and going back to what we in the military brony community do, it's kind of the same thing, why we cooperate instead of compete. It's like we could have so much worse things to do than this. Like, cooperating is just so much easier, and just working together is so much of a better plan, rather than creating a fight about absolutely nothing of any sort of value.
Yeah, and I look forward to a point in this fandom. I don't know if we'll ever get there, but I do look forward to a point where you don't see any of the bad blood, any of the competition, and brony politics, as people have put it. We aren't there yet, but it'd be nice if we could get there at some point.
No, we'll never get, but we'll just be able to look from a distance and still laugh at it, though. It'll be funny.
Yeah.
Just like we laugh at people now for being, I want to be brony famous.
Yeah, it just.
But that's everyone's dream.
To be brony famous. Is that everyone's
Yep.
dream? Okay. I can't. It is nice to. There is a certain sort of satisfaction with recognition. I'll grant that, but at the same time, a line has to be drawn on the lengths you'll go, and to step on people and make enemies and make bad blood in a community where most people just want to be your friend. It's not worth it.
Is obvious troll not obvious?
It's obvious troll not.
Sometimes no.
No, sometimes no, indeed.
I'll
good
work
I'll have
with
to
based
try
on
harder
the
next
session and all that.
Wow, everyone talked at once.
I'll have to try
Sorry.
harder next time.
Saunter said something, but I don't know if he even cares to repeat it.
Not really, no.
Yeah. So I really, it's like I said, I'm just brony politics. We as FOB Equestria, I know we have said this before, but FOB Equestria is never gonna take sides. We're never gonna,
Unless it's taking sides against Spangle.
Oh, I feel unloved now.
That's hardcore.
I
I better not badmouth my own boss. That'll probably end badly for me.
It ends with you being kicked out. That's how it ends. Although,
I'd lose my only friends.
I was gonna say, I was gonna point out, there are some people like Tweak who he has multiple bosses. So if he badmouths one, he can just run to the other. But you don't have that luxury, Mr. Dizziest Beef.
Oh.
So any more thoughts on what we've been talking about, or do we just move forward? Forward unto dawn?
Yes, I think
Once
we move
more
forward.
into the breach.
Once more into the breach. Okay, so, like I said, this week, a bit more by the seat of our pants. So, I don't have anything specific I want to discuss next, but if any of you have something you would like to bring up, I do have one thing I can talk about, but I'd like to hear if you guys have anything you would like to bring up before that.
What about
Does anyone want to bring up the Xbox that they're trying to release?
The Xbox One?
Do you really
I
want
could
me to
talk
talk
for
about
hours on that.
that? Do you really
I don't
want
want
me
to
to talk
ignite a
about
flame
that?
war, but I will do it. Let's do this.
I can do it
That's some
rationally
controversy.
and not do it for a long time, because what needs to be said about the Xbox One, there's not much to be said. You can rant and rave, but there really isn't. Well, one, the whole always online. No, that's an awful idea.
Horrible.
Two, you can't play used games on it. Okay, awful idea. Let's see.
Whoa,
Three.
Whoa. Wait a minute.
Well, no.
Wait a minute. Those
When
two
you-
things are false.
They
Like-
are not.
No, they those are false. Like to make it specific, you can play used games on it.
You have to pay a
have-
The way
fee.
they have it the way they have it set up is that you have to have the games registered onto their servers under your Xbox Live account. Then
Okay,
you can
but-
play them so long as you log in. If you don't log in and they're not registered, then you have to pay a fee. As for the always online part, it's only that you have to be logged in online and your stuff has to be registered online, and that's it. It doesn't actually have to be online as a verification.
Okay, then maybe the second one is not quite true. However, the first one, well, yeah, you have to buy the game. So say you go down to GameStop and you buy a used game. That game has already been registered to somebody else's account. That means when you buy it, you then need to pay extra money in order to play a game that you have already bought fully and completely.
I don't know how that works, and they haven't really talked about that too much. Like they said that they
is
have a
saying no
way to
used
do it
games.
online, but they said they have a way to do it online, but they haven't specified. They said that they were going to have some sort of way, and they would talk about it in the future, but they haven't really said anything specific. So
And then there's also
But
the fact no backwards compatibility at all.
Well, yes.
that is true.
Not to mention that any game you bought, I guess it kind of ties in. If you bought a game on the Xbox Live Arcade, nope, useless. But-
Even those? Wow.
Yeah, no, none of that transfers over. None of it.
Wow. I don't know if that's lazy or greedy
Dick
or
move, Microsoft. Dick move.
But hold on, my biggest issue with the Xbox One. Well, actually, no, my second biggest issue, because my biggest issue is the name.
the one.
But
Yeah.
my
That
biggest
really
issue.
shouldn't be the biggest issue.
Oh,
I am the one and only.
it's like the Wii U. did not buy the Wii U based on its name. That is how awful I think the name is. Like, ugh. But okay, going on. My biggest issue with the Xbox One is its complete de-emphasis as a gaming console. What did they talk about that entire thing? Wasn't quite gaming like you would expect from a gaming console. It was sports, TV, home entertainment system, sports, all of this. I'm like, why am I listening to this? I don't like sports. I don't care about any of this. I don't want to watch TV on my Xbox. That's what I have cable for. I want Xbox to play games.
Just playing devil's advocate for Microsoft here again. The thing that I would consider is that they're showing off the hardware, they're showing off what they want it to do, but they haven't given this crap to developers. They really don't have games to show for it.
I pretty much...
You do know that developers get tools months and months and months before the hardware is actually... Which is why you have Call of Duty Ghost, which takes approximately 2 years to develop, being released in a few months.
But think about all the launch titles that come off of every single one of these consoles. They are all there to be able to still be played as the previous generation, because the developers, although they have some of the tools, some of them have it early, by the time it comes out, they're still just trying to work with what they know works, and they're not trying to experiment on it too much. So they're still going to produce stuff that's previous gen, even when they go into the next gen. Stuff like frickin', if any of you frickin' remember Cameo or frickin' NBA 2K or Burnout 3 being re-released on the 360 when it came out and all this other stuff. So, I mean, and still, this is still the very first time they have revealed that the next generation Xbox is coming out. So I'm not really upset that they didn't show any games.
No,
still working
for me,
their devil's advocate.
Yes, I understand. It's just the de-emphasis as the Xbox One as a gaming console.
Can you still watch ponies on it?
They didn't tout, its advanced gaming capabilities. They were touting its advanced home entertainment system.
But then to replace your satellite provider, your cable provider.
Yeah, they were talking all about how it's going to replace TV and how, they're going to compete with Google and the, like, I don't want
Microsoft
to
wants...
watch TV. I want a console that's going to play video games. And I was not impressed at the de-emphasis that they placed on the Xbox One as a gaming console.
Again, to be fair, that with the 360 too, they said we're going to replace all of your. It's going to be the next home networking entertainment center, and how it could connect with Windows Media Center and through your computer and through your TV, and now it has Netflix and all this other crap, and oh yes, it has HD DVD, all this good stuff. And
HD DVD.
It was always.
It didn't have HD.
I know that, but that's what they were arguing about. That was what they were presenting when they started coming out with the 360. So it's like, this is just a natural extension of that. Yeah, okay, they didn't show any games, but we're going to probably see that later once they start giving these tools to the developers and they actually start making games for it.
Right.
Not to mention, I think that they're really pushing, like, I'm starting to see a lot more of all of the consoles. Well, not we, but I'm starting to really see a lot of the 360 and PS3 and PS4 and Kinect stuff to be pushed outside of gaming just in general. They have been using like Kinects and Xboxes and PS3s for like research stuff, for like making cheap supercomputers, or for the Kinect they've used it for different kinds of motion detecting and image filtering and all sorts of other stuff, because I think Microsoft sometimes allows it to be have their source work purchased or something like that to these research firms and stuff like that. So I think that they're trying, that it's not just us that they're even trying to appeal to. I think they're trying to appeal to a lot of simultaneous at the same time. But at the same moment, I'm fully prepared to watch a third of the shit that they talk about just go down in flames, because people are going to lose interest on certain parts of it just as much as people would probably lose interest on some of the shit that the Xbox 360 had, with whether it be sharing with Windows Media Center and streaming from your computer and crap like that. It's just not going to make a difference to most people, and it's not going to help their bottom line any, but they're going to advertise it and see where their shit that they threw at the flan sticks, basically.
Yeah.
I kind of fall into that group. If I'm going to be doing stuff like multimedia, all that sort of stuff, I'm going to use my PC. That's what I do. I'm only going to maybe buy an Xbox One for the new Call of Duty because I'm a fanboy.
I'm not buying the new Xbox One.
That's about it. I'm not going to use it Netflix. I'm not going to use it for YouTube. I'm not going to use it for any of that.
But you can watch ponies on Xbox through Netflix. Oh wait, you can do that on your computer.
I don't have Netflix. Yes. I'm just going to use my computer.
Exactly.
I honestly would probably use the Xbox. Like, even right now, I would probably use the Xbox for its free FM radio thing. That was kind of cool for its video game music stations. If I cared about watching more stuff on television, I would probably use the Netflix app. But, I mean, so to me, it's like they're trying to hit all of the different consumers at the same moment, because there's going to be people hearing about this that are going to be like, oh sweet, so does it have a weight loss program with the Kinect? And then there'll be the rest of us, etc., etc.
Honestly, the only reason I even heard about the Xbox One release was because of some of the pony tumblers I follow. Actually, one of them is console ponies, and they're ponies based on the different console series.
That sounds like a horrible idea.
No, actually, it's an entertaining.
Totally not. They got the internet browser ponies, which are awesome.
Oh yes, those are also awesome. But yeah, I mean, it was kind of funny. I think someone made an offhand comment about the Xbox pony not quite living up to expectations or something in one post, not directly from console ponies, but I so many pony tumblers, but yeah, it's the Xbox One. I think this is the generation with the Xbox One and the PS4 and the Wii U that I'm just dropping consoles altogether, and I'm going to PC all the way.
Sounds like a good idea.
Oh, by the way. Let's see. Posted. Where is it? Hold on. Let me read the article. Okay, this is a response from a Microsoft spokesman. No, the Xbox One does not have to always be connected, but it does require a connection to the internet.
So it requires internet
I read
connectivity.
that post. It requires a connection to the internet in order for you to register the games online. So yeah.
So yeah.
Gentlemen, congratulations. You have officially started a flame war amongst yourselves.
I will. Full disclosure, I am not totally sold on the Xbox One, and I'm not entirely sure if I want to pick it up yet.
Yeah, it's
and I was totally planning on
iffy.
just like, okay, I'll buy the new Xbox console, but I am not entirely sure.
Well, I mean, yeah. Certainly.
For the Call of Duty, that's it. It's the only reason I'm getting it. Maybe. I have enough money.
Hell no. I will never.
College is expensive.
Unless I am forced to, I will never pick up Call of Duty. It's such a terrible franchise.
Why would you play
Personal
Call
opinion.
of Duty? I'm sorry. If you play Call of
Because
Duty, I lost respect for you as an FPS player.
I still
Unless
have
it's one of the first four, except 3.
I still have childish notion that maybe, just maybe, the newest Call of Duty is going to be as good as Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1.
Right. That's what I said for the previous 4 iterations of Call of Duty, and then was entirely let down. I'm sorry. No more chances. You're already on Call of Duty 10. Nope.
Well, I'm a purist on this. I have always hated Call of Duty, so there's that.
The first 2 were great. All of them after that.
Nope, hated them.
No. Well, I don't respect you because Call of Duty 1 was like the greatest FPS game of all time.
Actually,
That's
Call of
funny.
Duty 4. I liked Call of Duty 4.
Tied with Half-Life 2. Tied with Half-Life.
I'll still take Halo over Call of Duty, any Call of Duty or anything else.
You know, I
I honestly think Halo is one of the best first-person shooters. Don't kill me, old Doom fans and freaking Quake fanatics.
I kind of just
I'm
had.
sorry, guys, but I didn't play that generation of first-person shooter where you run around like a nut job, like a painkiller or anything like that. Although I have played, whatchamacallit, Serious Sam, and it is by far the most terrifying game I have ever played because it just gets me so amped up and so, like, there's just so much adrenaline and I'm just freaking out, shooting everything, and everyone's screaming at me and exploding. Like, I could definitely see the reason you would want to play those types of games, but I can only play that game for like an hour or so before I have to put it down.
You've obviously never played Amnesia: The Dark Descent. That game is...
Dark.
I haven't,
For those
but
of you
I haven't
who
played
have
it yet.
played it, the water stage, the water part, that's all I'm going to say. That is the single most terrifying thing I've ever experienced.
Yeah. I have not played that game, but I enjoy my sanity. So, or what little sanity I have left. So yeah.
Oh, Saunter.
fun in
I know
being sane.
I'm going back to this because I feel correct and I'm going to stroke my ego. But no,
Send it.
Microsoft. No, I'm not flaming. Microsoft, quote, "The bits are already on your hard drive, so it's just a question of going to our online store and buying the game, and then it's instantly available to play." This is in reference to a question by The Verge asking if you brought your CD to a friend's house, installed it to their hard drive, which is required. You can't play it off the disc; it has to be installed to the hard drive. And
Really?
play it off the drive. But yes, you can install the game to your hard drive, but you can't play it until you buy it from their online store. Which, yeah, okay, so you're registering it to your Xbox. You literally, it is
Okay. So
no use. You cannot buy
That's
it
weird.
used.
I don't understand.
that is really
So,
weird.
To me, it
let's
sounds
go
like
over
they're trying
this.
to phase
So-
out the whole disc things. They just want you to be like Steam. You log into the Xbox Live, like the store. You just download all your games instead of
Right, that-
having
Yeah.
a middleman in there. GameStop, Walmart.
Right, that
wherever
has
you buy your
eliminated
games.
the concept of used games, and Microsoft is doing the exact same thing with their console.
But see, I'm still confused. Like, so you're telling me that if I download a video game to my hard drive on my Xbox One, and I go over to Spangle's house, and he has an Xbox, and I swap out his hard drive for mine, I can't play it on his Xbox?
It's bound to your account. You can only have one
Right,
account
and I-
logged in on one machine.
Right,
Oh.
so if I log in as Saunterhoof, and then I put in my hard drive into Spangle's Xbox, I can't play it?
You can,
I just
Okay.
but it does require persistent online. It requires the console to kind of ping in with their servers once every specified time period, and if it doesn't, you can't play. That is what
See,
prevents people from logging in on multiple consoles at once, in essence rendering their DRM useless.
See, but that doesn't quite make sense. So if I I can log into my account on the Xbox without going in onto Xbox Live. So
No,
if
not on the Xbox One. That they will not allow that.
right, that's what I'm saying.
That
That's
is
what
the
I'm saying.
persistent
So you're telling
online.
me so if I register online and let's say I guess this is the weird part. Like, so we should all as a society begin to understand that the internet is not a luxury at some point. It's going to it really is a utility. It's like water or electricity. It's going to have to become considered a utility, but I don't think they've created an infrastructure which is set up for that. because we still
I
have
agree.
like situations where it's going down and all sorts of brownouts and all this stuff. And I think it would be okay if they actually did do always online, but you have to have a situation where you're going to guarantee that you are not going to have brownouts of internet activity, just as much as the power companies are going to tell you, look, 99.999% of this year you will have electricity when you flick your light switch. But that's not always the case when I'm using Wi-Fi, or when I'm using even the regular internet, or when internet traffic slows down. So
That
I know that
is
feeling. I
the
live
big-
way out in the sticks.
That is
So-
one
Yeah,
of
right.
the that's one of the incredibly valid arguments against having a online connection. However, Microsoft seems to say, "Screw you, we do what we want because money."
Yeah, I'm just impressed at the extensive measures they're taking to phase out used games and
Look at what EA did, and guess what? It didn't work. And now they're in one, hot water, two, one, shittiest company of the year twice running. Their CEO resigned, and they lost a bunch of money because they lost customers on their intense
someone needs
efforts
to.
in DRM.
Yeah, someone.
But come on, let's be serious though. EA is not the worst company in the world when you've got people like,
no.
Bank of America?
Yes,
Or
but
Enron?
EA?
Or Merrill
EA?
Lynch? WorldCom?
okay, Saunter, you're discounting one thing.
Or AIG?
Saunter, you are discounting one
Dow
thing.
Chemical?
No one is as vindictive as pissed off gamers. Okay, that's the one thing you're taking out of the equation.
I accept
Yeah,
that,
like-
but there's definitely worse companies than EA.
Oh, I'll
I
concede that.
disagree.
I accept that. Nintendo's up there. I'm still mad that they ruined Metroid.
No, Nintendo is just intensely misguided.
Okay, so
that's
Dow
my
Chemical,
Metroid franchise,
Agent
they ruined
Orange?
Okay, I think we have definitely talked enough about who is evil and what games suck and what consoles suck. And okay, we're wrapping this
Let's
up.
get on to serious business now.
No, we are wrapping this podcast up. We are not going anywhere else.
Can we turn it around and start from square one?
Start from what? There's only so much space left, Michelle. We have to finish this up.
Bengals computer sucks.
Aw.
You just got to admit that. I realized that. Come to terms with that.
I guess. Okay. Whatever. So, yeah. I guess finish this off by saying if you've got a subject you want us to talk about on the podcast, just send it to fobequestria@gmail.com with the subject line of podcast and say, hey, you should talk about this. And we'll take it into consideration, but no promises. And we are still currently, we're talking with the one head of music applicant right now, so we may be filling that position very shortly, but it is still currently not definite. So if you think you might want to become our head of music, the only requirement is that you are military to the nature of the head staff position, and we want all of our head staff members to have that military experience and perspective. So
Redundancy is redundant.
I guess, yeah.
Doesn't matter. Move on.
Moving on, that pretty much covers this week's podcast, and we will be all signing off right now. Say your goodbyes, Dizzy, Michelle, and Saunter.
See ya.
Till next time, peoples.
I need friends for Company of Heroes.
Apparently,
Why
Saunter.
don't
with
you
me.
add me?
I tried Company of Heroes
I
once.
didn't know you played it.
That was horrible.
I play every game. I have like 400 Steam games.
It'll love you a long time.
Okay.
I has open invites to play video games with everyone. On Steam.
So add Michelle and Saunter Hoof on Steam. This has been the FOB Equestria Podcast. Semper Philly.
Love you.